Texter reading into Jim Harbaugh, which is always difficult, says, sounds like a man who has no intention of being back next year, setting up his coordinators for head coaching jobs in the near future. Of course, he won't be on the sidelines on Saturday against East Carolina. It will be Jesse Minter.
Yep.
And then it will be Jay Harbaugh / Mike Hart.
Yep.
And then it will be Sharon Moore for the third game against Bowling Green. He believes he's got a bunch of head coaches, whether they're going to be coaching at Michigan next year as the head coach or not. I think there's always a danger into reading into Harbaugh. He wanted to go to the NFL the last couple of years. It wasn't reciprocated. So I think it's an idea. I wouldn't speak with certainty on it.
Yeah, sure. It's like everything. If you got to have somebody that wants you back.
Right. Steve in Madison Heights says, Cookies, you're a moron. Okay, won't be the first time I hear that. Says, he can't talk about something, but you ask anyway, you come off like an idiot. Well, I tried to ask it in a way that he could answer.
Right.
I asked because the school suspended him. Not about the NCAA. Michigan, Ward Manual, the Block M said, Harbaugh, you got a 3-game suspension. I asked him if he agreed with it or not. He didn't have to get into NCAA investigations. Do you agree with the suspension handed down by your university? He elected not to answer. Not going to stop me from asking a question. He's free to answer how he wants. But that's Jim Harbaugh for you.
Yeah, I mean,
he's always a character.
Yeah, and it's, if you try and read into it, it's, chances are he'll pivot and go another direction, and you'll be trying to read into that. So it's just, it is who he is.
He started his general media availability yesterday talking about the future of college sports. And he made his statements about how he wants there to be a new model where athletes can cash in on a rev share. And he made the analogy to Michael Jordan getting a percentage of his sales with Nike, saying Nike made out just fine in that arrangement. In other words, with billions being thrown around for TV deals, if the institutions have to cut a percentage of that back to the student athletes, they'll be okay. They won't shutter doors and shut down. They'll be all right. He went at the NCAA yesterday. And in some of the follow-up questions, people asked, Jim, why now? And he says, well, I've done this, and you asked him about it. And he says, I've talked about this for years. But, John, it did stand out to me that he brought it up on a day where this NCAA investigation is hanging over his head. And I wonder, maybe not the time to rattle the cage of the NCAA. You got a good football team. Do you need to be duking it out, sparring with the NCAA, telling them to tear it down, burn it down, and start over? I think he's right. But, John, is there anything to being said for timing, why it came up?
Well, the question then is, when is the right time to say this?
When you're not under investigation.
Okay. Well, they're already pissed at you, so why not just go all in at this point?
Okay.
I mean, it's
so he's loaded for bear.
Yeah. I mean, if a bear's, bearing down on you, then, I mean, what do? Do you fight back, or do you just lay down and let it run its course?
If I was a Michigan fan, I would want him to not be going at the NCAA. Just me.
Well, I mean, it's so a lot of Michigan fans, if you flip it, they'll say, well, why is the NCAA going after Jim Harbaugh so hard? And that's the unknown, right? We don't know exactly what the violations are. I haven't read the notice of violations, and I don't know. We're all speculating. And we know that the 4 games that was previously agreed to, the NCAA said, when they went back to him, said that, okay, that's not enough. And so Michigan thought, well, whatever the violations were, we think, as per Ward Manual's statement, that we think this is the appropriate violation. They're on both ends. We don't expect them to agree on it.
No.
And so now all of a sudden you have a moment where he's not going to be coaching the team for 3 weeks, at least on game days. The rest of the week he's going to be around, and we'll talk to him again next Monday, and he'll present whatever it is to the media, however he wants to start the first 6 minutes. It's going to be Jim Harbaugh's show. And right now it's really, if they're coming at you, why not? I mean, this seems like the actual perfect time to make a statement like this.